people! എല്ലാവർക്കും പുതിയൊരു വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് സ്വാഗതം. I just got back from watching Smile 2 in theaters. It's been 20 minutes since I left the theater, and I shit you not, my ears are still ringing with the screams of my fellow audience. That's how good the movie was. അപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെയാ തുടങ്ങല്ലേ? Let's go. In the discussing movie is Smile 2, which is a continuation of Smile 1, which is a horror thriller that came out in 2022. The first Smile introduces us to this paranormal entity which goes from one person to another, functioning almost like a parasite. So this entity would feed off on your weakness, your negative energies. It will just play with your mind, and when you become completely unhinged and you are no longer a functional human being, the parasitic entity would force you to commit suicide in front of a witness, and the witness then becomes the new host. And the last thing the witness sees before you kill yourself is a really creepy smile. And in the coming days, the new host, the last witness, would start seeing random people come at them with creepy smiling faces, and in general, spiral downward. So that's the first movie. It is not necessary that you watch the first movie to understand what's happening in this one, because all you need to know is how the entity functions, which is that it goes from one person to another, much like a viral infection. You have to be in contact with the person who has this entity to take it over. Sorry. Before I begin, yes, of course, I'm going to do a one-liner review because I want you all to watch this movie in the theaters. My one-liner review is that you should not, under any circumstance, miss watching this in theaters. Because remember when I watched Long Legs and came out absolutely devastated? It impacted me deeply, but it was not like giant adrenaline sort of moments. I don't know how to explain, because I was not just terrified, I was also like on the edge of my seat. I'm someone, I've said this 100 times, I'm not a fan of jump scares, directors relying on jump scares to get a reaction out of people. That said, this movie has executed these jump scares so brilliantly that even though I could sense that the jump scare was coming, nothing could have prepared me for like the sheer creativity of the jump scares. It was very good. Like, I could predict the ending. I mean, all of you will be able to predict the ending, because halfway through you realize that whatever the girl is seeing is not necessarily what is happening, because the entity plays with your mind and it gives you a distorted version of reality. If Smile 1 was told from the perspective of the doctor that gets the infestation from her patient, Smile 2 is told from the perspective of a rock star who has been through so much and is still recovering. So, just to give you a recap, by the way, it is not necessary that you watch the first Smile. You just need to understand how the possession/infestation works. That's all. This movie begins where the last one ended, where Joel, who receives the entity from Dr. Rose Cotter, is now on the 6th day of his possession, and he is trying to find a criminal/person he deems unworthy of life to pass the entity on to. Shit goes wrong, and he ends up getting killed, and the last person who sees him ends up getting the possession, ends up getting infected by the entity. And that entity happens to be a drug dealer for our lead character, played by Naomi Scott. Oh my god, that girl deserves a standing ovation. I have seen Naomi Scott in Aladdin and I loved her. I saw her in Charlie's Angels and I was like, girl, what the fudge. But in this movie, I shit you not, if I had the power to influence the Oscar community, I would have gotten her an Oscar for this, because she has blown it out of the park. She has convincingly played a pop star with a substance abuse problem and a strained relationship with her mother beautifully. I don't think anyone else could have done this character that well. Oh my god, what an amazing movie. Whew. I cannot stop raving about it, because in this movie, what I noticed was that they drew out the hook a little bit. Like, the hook happens and then it sort of leans towards an explanation or conversation, and then we are like, okay, this is not going to be a jump scare. It's them explaining what is happening, and then bam, the jump scare hits you out of nowhere. And even if you do see the jump scare coming, you will not be able to guess how creatively it is going to scare the shit out of you. One particular scene, it happens at Naomi's home, where she's alone and she's trying to make sense of all of this that's happening to her, and then a bunch of people show up. That scene, I shit you not, the girl sitting next to me in the theater screamed so much that everyone literally thought that something was happening to her. But anyway, my one-liner review, as always, is that you should absolutely pause whatever you're doing right now and go watch this movie in the theaters. I am not even going to do a summary because there is no summary as such. There is an entity that goes from one person to another. Right now, it's in Skye Riley's body and she's trying to get rid of it. And there is a person who knows how to get rid of it, and together they're trying to do just that. But it is the storytelling, the execution of the jump scares, and the I mean, you know where it's headed. It's headed in the same direction that Smile 1 concluded. But this was way better executed in terms of the artistry, the direction, the music, the acting, the performances. My God, stellar. Everyone played their part beautifully. Even Skye Riley's assistant, Joshua. I think I will just have verbal diarrhea if I start speaking about the movie because I absolutely loved it. All I can tell you is you all should go watch this in the theater. In the theater, miss one miss OTT same impact ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. Jump scares ശരിക്കും ചില സീൻസിൽ എനിക്ക് ശ്വാസം വലിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. I knew it would have been a jump scare. I knew it was coming from a mile away, and I still could not predict what the actual jump scare was going to be. Believe me, some of you all will get heart attacks. അത്രയ്ക്ക് നല്ല jump scares ആണ്. I don't like jump scares, but these were really good. So yeah, that's about it. Everyone go watch Smile 2 out in theaters now. For more horror movie reviews, vertical shots and reels and random vlogs, don't forget to follow Unbelievable. Bye.